Paul, the MMA Shark, coming at you after Dana White's Contender Series Week 9. And we did it again. That's 5 winning Dana White Contender Series cards in a row. This one in particular, it came down to the last fight that would decide our trajectory on whether it was a winning night or a somewhat down night. 2-2 going into the main event. I'll break it down. But all that matters is I was able to break this out on the main event. And that's what we want. That's the cash 'em all, baby. Cash 'em all. We hit 5 plays in the main event. A lot of build up for the main event. Close 200 odds, which on Dana White's Contender Series means absolutely nothing. A minus 400 could win on Dana White's Contender Series. So the odds don't really say a lot. But let's start with fight 1. I was on here yesterday and I gave 5 free leans on this card. I didn't put out props or parlays. My subscribers, my OGs and my MMA Shark subscribers got all my parlays and props on tonight's card. And I'll go through some of them that we hit. I'm really good at Dana White's Contender Series. And, just because Yanni won tonight doesn't mean it was an easy night. All the favorites hit tonight. And it's not something that really ever happens on Contender Series. Favorites are right around 54% this season in 9 weeks. So before I break it down, I want to draw some attention to my shirt. We got Gavin Anthony Sports. I'm repping my buddy Gavin. He has been on an absolute football tear. I think he's hitting somewhere around 72%. He charges $20 a month. So I appreciate the merch, Gavin. Head over to gavinanthonysports.com. Check out what he's got to offer. Great kid. I've known him 3 years. I call him a kid because he's a lot younger than me. 3-4 years, Gavin and I have been going, talking back and forth and helping each other out. So, it's football season. I really recommend him as, for $20 a month. It's a hell of a package. And I also recommend my boy Ryan Meehan over at Me's Money Moves for football, and he gets more in depth into tennis. So if you're a tennis bettor, head over to mesmoneymoves.com. That's me, M-E, mesmoneymoves.com. So appreciate you, Gavin. Appreciate you, Ryan. Got to give you guys a shout out when I'm out here because you do what I do, and we make our people money, and we love doing it. So little breakdown on tonight's Dana White's Contender Series show. As I said, I was on here yesterday. I gave breakdowns on all 5 fights. First fight, I had Echeverria. And wow, he looked like reluctant to throw. He's throwing one-dimensional punches with a lot of power behind them. His leg kicks were hitting really good. I had him. He lost the first round. He clearly won the second round. He was way ahead in the third round, landing some brutal leg kicks on Fialho. Fialho, it looked like he had his legs gone and just landed the brutal knockout right in front of the kid's family, too. I've never seen a fighter, a Contender Series from Kazakhstan have 30 people in attendance at the Apex, but it was unfortunate that Echeverria got knocked out right in front of his corner. So with that fight, we started down on the night, and down's not a place I want to be ever on a card, but it's a place I'm not afraid to be. I cap every fight on every card. So unfortunately with Dana White's Contender Series, there's not a whole lot of time to come back because there is only 5 fights. On a 14-fight card, you can win the first 3 fights like I did last Saturday, and that's not going to determine whether it's a winning night or not. So we started the first fight. I had Echeverria to win, and I had under 1.5 rounds. So both of them lost. So we were down. We had 2 units on Echeverria and a half unit on the under. So we're down 2.5 units after the first fight. That's how the cookie crumbles. Fight 2, I was on here yesterday, and I said, Wick is a tough kid. He was a live dog in that fight to an extent. But I did say, and I said, and you can quote me on this, I said there's no way in hell that Aliev is losing that fight. He is just too damn good. At his young age, at a 6-0 record, he's right where Khabib Nurmagomedov was at the time. And he showed that tonight. everyone said he was going to win by decision. He was going to grind out a decision. I did not call it that way. I called him to win the fight, which he won, and I called him to win that fight inside distance. So it happened with a vicious ground game. And I said in the video yesterday, I said, maybe he gets a ground and pound finish. Maybe he can grind it out and just get a ground and pound finish. And that's exactly what happened. And man, when he wanted he had his way that whole fight. Wick's tough as hell. He trains with Sanhagen, and he comes out of a good camp. But on 13 days' notice to fight Aliev, he never had a chance. And I'm glad Dana signed him. He's really going to be a contender in that division. So there we are. We're 1-1 on straight plays with Echeverria going down and Aliev winning. So that's where we're at after the first two fights. We go to fight 3. I said yesterday, Jacoby's the play. He was not the play. Jacoby just did not come to fight. He literally was in full mount and did no work off it, got reversed and just TKO'd. So that one stung. We start 1-2 on Contender Series. And like I said, it's kind of tougher to come back on the 5-fight cards. I only have 2 fights left to work with. I released the whole card up front today to my subscribers. Like I said, had a lot of props, had a lot of parlays. So fight 1, Echeverria, we lose. Fight 2, Aliev and no distance, we win. Fight 3, Jacoby, we lose. But in the Jacoby fight, I did have under 1.5 rounds, and that cashed. So we split up there with a little bit of a loss on the fight. Under 1.5 was a little chalky at -175. I put out a unit on it, so gained a little bit back, but we're still down going into fight 3, which brings me to my favorite fight on the card. And a couple of people reached out to me, even non-subscribers in Gavin's group, Gavin Anthony Sports official page, reached out to me and said, actually they just posted, what's a good play for Dana White Contender Series tonight? And I'm the kind of guy, I'll throw out a play once in a while. If it's a pay-per-view or something, I'm not doing it. But I said Rosas Jr., he's going to win. And it seemed like most of the internet disagreed. At the 17-year-old kid going out there versus Manny, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It happened. And, man, Raul Rosas Jr., he is going to be a problem at 17 years old. There's people trying to compare him to Chase Hooper. No, not at all. He is no Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper's got good jiu-jitsu, but Rosas Jr., man, he's going to be a problem. He's a young Charles Oliveira. He's nowhere near his potential. Manny, 25 years old, peak physical condition, and, he was able to survive, but he wasn't able to win the fight. So with that win, it put us in a weird spot. It put us in a good spot. As I said out in my chat, I said, we're in a good spot right now. I had a 3-leg parlay that was plus 180, or I could give you the exact odds on the 3-leg parlay that I put out on that. It was plus 167. I put out a 3-leg parlay with Aliev, Rosas Jr., and Ferreira. I put out Ferreira straight. I put out Ferreira to win by TKO or KO. I put out under 1.5 in that fight. And it was the last leg of a parlay that I do these almost every card. And, I like doing them, but I don't. The reason I don't like doing them is because I feel bad for those that aren't in states that have like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. But basically what I do in those fights are I parlay distance. And my play was no distance in the Echeverria fight and parlaying it with no distance in the Ferreira fight. We risked 3.3 units. It was -110. We risked 3.3 units to pick up 3. And boom, cash them all happened in the first round. Bruno gets the TKO finish. He gets the straight win. The prop hits. Under 1.5 hits. Our 3-leg parlay hit. And our 3-unit finishers parlay hit. So it was a banging end to the night on a night that I start at 1-2. I never say I get them right, but it's a system that we follow. And I love entering the YouTube land here now. If you watched my video yesterday, you might have made some money. I even said, Ferrejo was a little chalky, parlay him with Rosas. And if you did that, good on you. You won some money. So if you like what I've been mentioning out here, subscribe to the channel. Give me a like. Give me some comments. Tell me what you think. But more importantly, head over to the MMAshark.com and buy yourself a subscription. It's good for 30 days. www.themmashark.com. It's a full 30 days, so you're not getting shorthanded. Hey, today's the 21st, I think. I don't know. Today's the 20th. If you wait until the 22nd to sign up, you get Bellator for Friday, and that carries you to the UFC card with Oliveira. So that'd be a hell of a 30-day trial for you to try it out. So head over to the site, check it out. At the end of the day, it's been a long day. Capping Dana White's Contender Series is never easy. It makes some fight nights in the Apex feel easier when working Dana White's Contender Series, but now I am 7-2 in the 9 weeks, looking to get to 80% next week. Next week's week 10, the final week of it. You got Bo Nickel in the headlining fight. I kind of have my lean on it, but I'm sure I'll do a preview video before it with a little bit of breakdown, and I might give a free play or two. No UFC this weekend, but like I said, if fists are flying, I'm capping fights. And this Friday at 12:30 Eastern, we have Bellator, and it's a pretty good Bellator card. There's some super chalky prelims that I won't touch, but the main card is solid. There's a lot I like about the Bellator card this weekend. I'll be on here with a little preview video. I'll do that Thursday night. So again, subscribe, like, comment. Check me out on Instagram at the MMA Shark Capper. Check me out over at Fight Bananas. Check me out over at My MMA News. Check me out on Facebook, the MMA Shark. And maybe I'll get better with Twitter and start using it, but it's not been something I've been focused on. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. Overall, straight plays tonight. We're 3-2. We lived off the parlays tonight, the 3-leg parlay with Iliev, Rosas Jr., and Ferreja, and the finishers parlay with the Echeverria fight and the Ferreja fight. Hitting our TKO prop and the under 1.5 in the main event was huge. So 8 cards in September. I'm 7-1 in cards. I'm 7-2 on Dana White Contender Series. I haven't swept one yet, so I kind of have this bug that I want to sweep one because I swept 2 last year. So I really am looking to get that 5-0 benchmark next week on my last Tuesday night shot. So we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm the MMA Shark. Check it out. Go to the MMAshark.com. And maybe it's worth subscribing if you want to make a little bit extra money. Take care, guys.